Does the changing climate offer opportunities, unexpected opportunities? So, for example, there's a national debate going on about whether people should even go to college and whether we're snobs. So all of us are at a university getting undergraduate degrees or advanced degrees or are graduates. So obviously, as a person who's curious, as you said passionately about higher education, this debate would trouble you, I would think, as an institution. How do you interact when the climate is changing around us in these kinds of ways?
It is a troubling situation, but with every troubling situation, there is also an opportunity. And I think the mention or the comment that we heard recently that it is snobbish to aspire to a university or college degree is a different facet of another question that has been around for a longer time, and that is, why should I give to a wealthy institution? And Yale happens to be a wealthy institution. So this is a question that we have heard a lot, that we have heard primarily from individuals who really are not involved and lack a certain understanding of what private institutions are about. So, how do you think about, why should you give to Yale? It's so wealthy, could do anything it wants to do. I think there is somewhere in there a legitimate question. And the legitimate question in there is, tell us what you do with your wealth. Tell us, are you using your wealth for the public good? Are you using your wealth to do something good in society? Or are you squandering it by, I don't know, doing what with it? Now, when you look at the question from that perspective, it becomes a lot easier to explain why people should give to an institution like Yale or others. Well, first of all, you can start out, there are two models of funding higher education, right? Public and private. So you look at you compare the two systems, and what's striking is in every survey that you read, that ranks institutions, you have to go through 20 institutions at least to come to the first public institution. In the last survey, it was rank number 22, it was Berkeley. Only then do public institutions begin to act. Now look at Berkeley. That's an incredibly interesting situation. Berkeley and the California State University system was the treasure of higher education, of public higher education. And some from you are from California, so you know what's happening there. When the political climate shifts, when budgets get tight, people don't hesitate to cut higher education. And what the California state system is going through right now is really tragic, because it was such a stellar, system. Now, these systems, so are subject to, the vagaries of political, developments, the vagaries of economic developments. On the private side, the individuals decided who founded these institutions said, I'm going to rely on myself. I'm going to rely on a different system. I'm going to start up this institution. Then I charge something out to those people who want to be here. But then I want that everybody who graduates understands that, they have an opportunity, maybe even a little bit of a moral obligation, but at least an opportunity to hand over this institution to the next generation in a better way, so that the institution is better off. And that's what endowments are. Endowments are nothing but gifts that were given and are well managed. So, an institution like Yale, with the big endowment it has, is capable of playing a much more impactful role than other institutions. You know, when you look at advances in science, it costs money, you know. 300 years ago, nobody talked about gene sequencing. Well, today, if you want to be a player, you have to do that. But through these advances and through investment in science, this is also what fuels the economic development, the economic health of our country. You know, and aside from the fact that, you know, it's always good to educate people who are capable of providing good leadership when they go out in the world. And then one thing I just want to mention to that is, you know, the private institutions have been a major factor in social mobility, because when you think about it, sometimes it is less expensive to come to a place like Yale or a private institution than to go to a public institution. Why? Because philanthropists, donors understand that and have given a lot of money to financial aid.